Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Knees, Bandanas and Nonsense podcast. This is episode 3 with myself, Cahill, Biirchyyy. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
And
chilling.
Nice. Mr. Saul, how are you doing?
I'm good, my dude. I'm good.
And this is the first ever episode where we have a special guest. Our special guest today is a very special human. He has over 600 followers on Twitch, over 1.3k followers on TikTok, pushing 400 on Twitter, and he's nearly at the 1,000 mark on Instagram. He's one of the most unique, interesting, and intelligent people on Twitch I have ever met. It is King Cyber, aka Cybertronix Gaming. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you for the awesome introduction. I'm doing quite alright. Thank you so much for having me as your first ever guest. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, you like the intro?
God, that was hot.
That was
I like that.
That was top tier right there.
Honestly, I think we've peaked. Like,
when let's just end here because it's probably gonna go downhill.
Oh man. So, Cyber, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell the podcast, you know.
Well, my name's Cybertronix Gaming, or commonly just known as Cyber. I stream on Twitch now for about 1.5 years, closing in on the 2 years actually. And I stream a variety of streams, currently mainly horror games. And I have a special segment every Friday at 8 p.m. Central European time, where I discuss current events that are going on in the world. Something a bit more personal. I'm currently 27 years old. I live in Switzerland and doing my master's in political science. That's why also the discussion aspect of A Week with Cyber.
This guy is brainy.
Brainy. I love that. We haven't seen anything like that for Twitch. A lot of people do games and like just chatting, but you actually go into the more in-depth like political details. It's crazy. We love it.
Yeah. No, I decided to do it simply because I don't know. I have been within that space for quite some time, but I've noticed that it's that space is very much reactionary and quite opinionated, for better or worse. And I wanted to create a space that's essentially more grounded on facts, like what is actually happening, right? Additionally, also, I've really noticed being in that space, it's mainly centered around what's going on in the US, which obviously it's important due to how important the US is within the world dynamic. But it's also important to have more of a European standpoint, or of a what's happening in Asia or in Africa. And I really want to bring those aspects also to the foreground, because we live in a globalized society. Then it's also important to highlight aspects that are happening within the world.
I like that. Because I feel, from a British point of view, I feel like we're very closed off from events for the rest of the world. If you're going to watch the news or anything, all you're going to see about is the United States or what's going on in our own country.
Yeah, exactly. That's...
You don't...
Sorry, yeah?
No, I was going to say, you don't hear or see anything about, like I say, about Asia. We have no idea what's going on over there.
Yeah.
Africa, rarely. South America, rarely.
Yeah, exactly. That's the reason why I wanted to do this. Obviously, it's just one time a week, and I really try. And there are a lot of things that are happening in the world per week, but it's important to just highlight some of the more important things that are happening. Like, for instance, China is always quite a reoccurring topic, mostly linked with the US because they're in their trade war and everything. But also things that are happening in Europe. Like, for instance, I did my bachelor's in European politics, where I also then try in my streams to bring in this institution that a lot of people don't really know about, or have their own opinions, which are based on what they have heard from politicians or the news media and whatever. And I'm really trying to then give them more of a informed perspective, saying like, yes, but this is how it actually works in the European Union. This is what they're trying to actually achieve. And to also maybe look at why there are so many grievances within the member states that they have against the European Union.
Yeah, that I think you're right there. We get a lot of people that have a lot of points of view where they're like, oh, why isn't that done? That's really easy. That's a really simple answer. That's a really simple solution. But it's not so simple to actually get put through, to go through these processes and procedures. And I think with some of your background, it really helps like educate people on that side of it.
Yeah. Like the main goal that I have with mainly with the Friday streams is to just at the end of the stream, what I really hope and what I'm always happy about is that when people tell me, "Oh, I've learned something new," and that's really what I try to do. It's not about me trying to force people to have my perspective. That I've, for instance, noticed with a lot of people that discuss within this space, where it really comes down to like shoving their opinions down other people's throats and saying like, hey, I'm right, whatever you're saying is wrong. But for me, it's more about, hey, listen, like there's more of a gray area within this topic, right? And it's important to see the more nuanced aspects within everything that I try to discuss.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people like nowadays they struggle to see another point of view.
Yeah.
And how can you talk about something without trying to understand the opposite point of view to your own?
Exactly. That's why also within my streams I have a lot of people that come from a wide political spectrum, and I encourage them to then let's have a discussion, let's talk about these things, because personally I am more left leaning, but it's important to then like reach across the aisle and say, hey, let's talk about this, let's maybe see where we can find the middle ground, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think I would love to get to a point where people can have different opinions, be it politically or for anything, and not have a falling out over it.
Yeah. Carry on as friends afterwards, you know?
Yeah.
So I actually love being the 10th man. So I love the idea of that. If someone says something, they're very passionate about it, I love to question it just to test their thoughts and actually
devil's advocate.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that I disagree. It's more to test their stance on it and their thoughts and opinions to ensure they are actually as powerful as they think they are.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Yeah, the rule of the 10th man, if no one knows, is literally if 9 of you agree on one thing in a room, the 10th person should 100% disagree to just to prove that the 9 are correct and they're not missing something obvious. Basically.
Yeah,
I like that.
No, it's become very much since I studied this also. It's when you see the discourse around politics or political topics, in a lot of cases it has become, usually in the past how it worked is that you would have political discourse around something and you would always try to find the middle ground in the end, right? Because you have to get legislation through in the end, right? But nowadays it really has become more of a this sports team mentality where it's like, oh, it's either I win or I lose. And this is not how politics is supposed to work, because in the end of the day, the fundamental idea behind a government or politics is that the majority of the population within the country benefits from this. So having this team mentality goes contrary to that idea or that philosophy, right?
Yeah, that is super important. It's not I win, I get what I want. It's the majority, get what is needed or whatever the policy could be. So yeah, 100%. I don't think that's talked about enough, actually.
So taking that sort of perception of things, do you think there's politics to things like Twitch and content?
What do you mean with politics in Twitch?
I feel like people are very quick to sort of take sides on things or to very much have a very strong opinion on certain things, be it about Twitch or about certain streamers. And
Oh yeah, I think there is actually, because again, Twitch is also a platform that allows a lot of people to voice their opinions and stuff, right? And I think that indeed there's a lot of subtle political discourse within Twitch. Obviously, it's not as out there that I would do it, but obviously you still do notice it. And for instance, with Twitch, it's the thing is also it tries to be as inclusive as possible, right? But at the same time, it needs to be also a bit careful, like who they just let in, if that makes sense. Because for instance, I have noticed that within Twitch has a political subgenre, right? And you have there a lot of people that are now spreading false ideas on the Ukraine-Russian war and stuff, right? Where it's very much catered towards framing the entire issue pro-Russian. Where obviously, if you keep in mind how the international system works, you would easily say that what Russia is doing is wrong. But this is the thing within media that we're currently living, is that a lot of political things are being fed to us in a very subtle way that we don't notice, and it really skewers opinions.
Yeah, this is where opinions and politics should be separated.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have an opinion on politics, but you should be giving facts and figures when you're talking politics. You shouldn't be saying, "Oh, this person is, I don't like this person." It should be, the reason I wouldn't vote for this person is this. It should be put across in the right way. My trouble with politics on Twitch is, if you get someone like yourself who's educated and knows what they're about and does the research, amazing, perfect. That's exactly the person you kind of want, showing that kind of view. But when you get someone that's just a big streamer, got a big following, they're good at Fortnite, let's say, and then they start giving their political opinion,
whatever they
is there a place for that? Yeah. So what bias is that based on? What research is that based on? And I always struggle with that, because yes, you have a lot of good following, so you have a lot of people to listen to you. But is that necessarily what you should be, putting out over your content if people are there for gaming?
I actually have I actually have a point with this, is that not in Twitch streaming, but in the movie industry, right? Whenever there's a political event going on, right? A lot of times when movie stars promote their movies in interviews and stuff, a lot of time the interviewers will then ask the movie star a political question, right? And whenever I watch that, I always think who is obviously he's a star, he's a movie star and everything, right? But who is he to give a political opinion on something that he probably has not read a lot about, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because what kind of benefit is that going to bring to us? Because he's just giving his opinion of using his own moral judgment, but it's not grounded on any kind of facts that you would need in order to give a objective opinion on a matter, right?
Yeah, I always think this. It's like asking a footballer how to perform surgery.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a great footballer. They've got a skill. Doesn't mean they know everything on the planet.
Yeah.
Stick to your lane. So I think going back a little bit, tell us more about where you're from, what got you into content, and how you sort of meshed these, obviously your degree and streaming. What made you go into content in the first place?
Okay, so where I'm from is a bit complicated. So I was born...
Get your pens and papers ready, going.
The family tree's out.
I was born in Kenya, in East Africa, to a German mother and a Sri Lankan dad. They met there, and they also still live there together and everything. And I did my studies there and everything. And afterwards, I went to the Netherlands to do my bachelor's. And now I live in Switzerland doing my master's here. And how I got into streaming, genuinely, it was just, I was bored and I thought, why the hell not? There's no like there's no epiphany story of like, oh, I need to change the world or something. It's nothing like that. It was genuinely, I love gaming. I have loved gaming ever since I was a small kid. And
What was the first game you ever played, or that you remember playing?
I was a Super Mario emulator on an old PC.
Nice.
Ooh.
An N6. I remember it was an N64 Mario game on a PC. The guy somehow emulated it. It only also went to like the end of the level, and then the game would crash, and then you would need to restart it and play that level again. But I remember I played that level like so many times, and then I got into Tetris, and then Pokemon, and then yeah. But yeah, that's the reason why I started streaming. I just felt, why the hell not? I have the tools and everything. Why shouldn't I?
Yeah.
It's very good to see how that's evolved to where you are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the streams.
How it's progressed. Because I remember very early on, I'm not sure how early it was into your streaming. I feel like it was very early when me and you met. You were streaming World of Tanks, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first game I was playing. Yeah.
And you didn't even have a camera on either, did you?
No. I didn't even have a camera then.
Yeah. And now to look at you now, you got your camera with your green screen and your whole horror game setup, and it's just like you look at them early streams and you look at the more recent streams, you're like, you know what? That's progression, and I rate that.
It is. And the cool thing is, it's within a year, like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I started out with World of Tanks because it was a game that I was very passionate about.
Yeah.
I still am, but I don't stream it anymore because I get too competitive inside of it. So it doesn't like, the thing is with me is when I get competitive and focused, I really just focus on the game and I don't speak anything anymore. So it becomes boring because I don't say anything.
Yeah, you gotta find that game that's like the happy medium between the game and the chat kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's why I decided to go like into horror games and stuff, because horror games are always like, the cool thing is with a horror game is like you try and drown out the silence in the game to, like, for me at least, because I get scared. So when I get scared, I start singing or I start just rambling random stuff, and that's the kind of content people want. And then you have a jump scare, you start screaming. That's the stuff people want. So yeah.
Top tier content.
Exactly.
Like, content-wise, I don't think I'm wrong in saying a couple of your Instagram reels have, like your horror ones, kind of popped off with like a couple thousand views, right, or 1,000 views.
Yeah. They have. The highest one I've gotten till now is like 4,500 views.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Instagram
That's
reel. That's
amazing.
just like for discoverability and just popping on a random horror clip. That's amazing, man.
But I've noticed that Instagram, like when it comes to discoverability, I actually prefer YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts, yeah, that's what they're called. YouTube Shorts. That's really the place where it's been really picking up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, there's been a lot of a big push for YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
Actually, considering that they're typically a long format kind of platform, obviously. It's really expanding in that area, which is interesting to see.
They're even trying. I mean, they're even trying to bring in like TikTok content creators by incentivizing better monetization on their YouTube Shorts. So yeah, that's why YouTube Shorts is really the place to be looking out for.
Yeah. The TikTok monetization is awful.
Yeah, it is. It is.
They're content creators, the big ones, they get stiffed hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in general, I also feel like, I feel like for anyone that's really starting out with Twitch, it's like, honestly, don't start out at Twitch. Just do YouTube videos, and then go from there to Twitch, because like Twitch is like, if you look at it, Twitch is really awful when it comes to discoverability.
Yeah.
Like that's unless you play like a very niche game where there are like, I don't know, like anyway, just 50 viewers or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like you really need to be working in the background to promote your stuff on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah,
And
it's hard.
Yeah, it's much easier to then just go on YouTube and upload YouTube videos while you're gaming and stuff, and then transition from there to like Twitch,
Yeah.
than just starting out on Twitch. Because I feel like a lot of us have done it the other way around. We started off on Twitch and then realized, oh, this is not really working the way it's supposed to. We have to go on YouTube or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, it's been it's definitely especially starting off from scratch. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard. Like you say, like because we're all fairly new content creators. I mean, we've all got a bit of a dabble in the past of here and there doing things, but like you say, we all started on Twitch, I'm pretty sure, and it's getting that ball rolling can be tough, especially on Twitch. It's so up and down, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It is. However, there has been big discussions about them bringing in new tools for discoverability.
Oh.
Which is very interesting going forward, because they've obviously realised YouTube and TikTok have kind of taken over on the shorts kind of world for how discoverability, or how much discoverability they have. So it's interesting to see Twitch kind of kick back a little bit. We'll have to see what happens there.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I feel like right now kind of fighting a losing battle. I mean, it's not that Twitch isn't a good place. Like I love Twitch. I love streaming. I love all that. But when it comes to the big boys of platforms, it just feels like they're losing out a little bit, and they're pissing off.
YouTube's always on top.
Yeah, they're pissing off more people than they are making people happy right now. So, like you say, it'd be interesting to see them kick back and hopefully make some more improvements.
Yeah, so I guess you've all seen the recent updates on advertisements on Twitch.
Yes.
So there's been a lot of posts where people are getting messages saying, you know, if you run 9 minutes of ads an hour, we'll pay you like 40 grand. And it's like 9 minutes of ads is a lot of time in an hour.
Yeah.
A lot.
There have been, like, I've also noticed that whenever I watch other Twitch streamers, like bigger ones, right? They're really pushing ads like there's no tomorrow. It's become really, like, if you compare it to, like, let's say 5 years ago, right? It has changed a lot with pushing ads. Like even on YouTube, introducing these unskippable ads that are like 5 seconds long and stuff, but then 2 back to back. It's just it's just
5 seconds. I've had some that are like 2 minutes long and you can't skip. It's horrendous.
Yeah, that's
really
crazy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they are pushing premium down people's throats right now.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
They really are.
But I guess ads is the way they make money, right? That's the.
Yeah, I mean, we in my Friday streams actually we discussed the entire Twitch thing, and I genuinely think the reason why they're introducing all these ads and the 50-50 split now also for the top content creators on Twitch is simply because during the pandemic, a lot of people discovered Twitch, right? Because they were stuck at home, they couldn't do anything else. And they then discovered Twitch and paid money for it and stuff.
Yeah.
And Twitch obviously then saw a spike in revenue, right? But now with everything opening up, obviously a lot of people don't have any more time to be on Twitch and everything.
Yeah.
They see now a dip in their revenues. And they're trying to regain the peak that they had beforehand.
Yeah, which is going to be almost impossible for any kind of platform like Twitch, or that any platform that peaked during lockdown and stuff because everyone was stuck inside on the internet, had nothing else to do. Like they're all going to struggle getting back to improving from them stats and them peak viewerships and peak ads, and
exactly.
It's going to be but like you say, it has to be done and all that stuff. Anyway, moving on, Mr. Cybertronix Gaming. I've got a little question. What is both of yours favourite horror games that you've played? I know you don't really play horror games, do you, actually, Sol?
I've actually got a good one straight away.
All right, okay, right. You go first. What's your favourite horror game you played?
So mine is Dead Space.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
My uncle lent me a copy of Dead Space when I was like 17, maybe 16, and it scared the crap out of me. Honestly, I would do like 10 minutes a night, and then I'd have to turn it off and like just sit and cry to myself. It scared the absolute crap out of me.
Yeah.
But it really stuck in my mind, and it's got one of those stories where I just had to see what happened.
Yeah,
I couldn't leave it
You
live.
wanting more, doesn't it, Dead Space?
It does. It really does. And I like to talk about it because obviously they're remastering it next year, so I'm very excited to see that.
I'm actually.
Have you played Dead Space through Cyber?
I have actually dabbled into Dead Space. I find it I actually enjoyed watching the. I don't know if you actually know this, but they have an. So I love anime. I grew up with it as a kid, and I actually discovered when I was like, I think 15 or something, that Dead Space has an anime series.
It does, yes.
So I was watching that as well, and I actually found it really entertaining. It was really good, and I was like, let me try the games. But it was the same case with you. Those games were so insanely scary. I was like,
They
no,
were
I
so
can't do it.
I don't do horror at all, as Cal kind of briefly mentioned, and I found them so scary.
Yeah.
But I love the idea that it was just an engineer. It's just a guy that was in a bad situation. It wasn't some superhero. It wasn't some clever like detective. It's just an engineer that wanted to do his job and got stuck in a bad situation.
Yes. What about you, Cyber? What's your favourite?
Oh, I don't know. It really like currently, like the recent one I've been playing is Mortuary Assistant, and that one's really good.
I've heard good things about.
I've been watching you play that.
It's a genuinely really good game. But I feel like with horror games, it's really about like what kind of flavor of horror game do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want the kind that gives you jump scares and stuff like that, or do you want something that's more like
a bit more of an eerie story?
Yeah, like an eerie story that delves into like, you know, the psychological aspect of horror and stuff.
Yeah.
So like if it really comes down to like wanting jump scares, Mortuary Assistant is the one to go.
Oh,
but if it's like
to hear that.
but when it comes to like psychological, I would say Visage, because the story is really dark if you go into it.
Can I just say one thing? Fuck that game. That game made me shit.
That game is I really like that game, but if you look into like the things that it's actually talking about, it's seriously messed up. It's like, what the hell is going, like, these are not things that you should be playing. Like, thank God it's plus 18.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Biirchyyy? Have you got a favourite horror game or?
See, I'm such a baby with horror films and horror games, but I don't know if you can you even class Resident Evil as horror? I don't think you can you?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
You can? I would say the Resident Evils then.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I do enjoy like the more story-based horror games, like you say, like the psychological, the sort of eeriness of like the sort of mystery. And
yeah,
like the Quarry. I played the Quarry. I don't know if I wouldn't really class as a horror game, but there's a few jump scares and a
it's
few.
kind of like an eerie build-up, right?
Yeah, eerie.
Yeah, it's Resident Evil. I think the past two Resident Evil Biohazard and Resident Evil Village. Personally, I think they saved the Resident Evil franchise. I think they brought it back to life.
That move to first person was such an interesting choice, but it worked so well, I think.
So well.
It really did. Yeah, because I think number 5 was so good, and I put that up there like my top 5 games of all time, and top co-op game of all time for me personally.
Yeah.
I love Resident Evil 5. It's such a good game.
Yeah, it is unbelievable.
And then,
but then I thought 6 was just such a fail.
Yeah, it was
6 was horrible.
Yeah, they definitely revitalized it with the Biohazard. I think I got
100%.
that game on day release, because back in the day before I used to stream, me and my friends used to all get round one TV. I'd play a horror game, and they'd all just sit there and laugh at my reactions. That is what we used to do every weekend.
That shows you're made for streaming.
Yeah. That is basically how I started streaming. And Biohazard was one of them games, and I wasn't expecting much going into it, and then almost instantly I just gripped into the game and screaming like a little girl because, well, no spoilers. I mean, if you've not played it by now, you need to play it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a 2-year-old game. We can have spoilers.
I mean, the game was out for a long time. Like, if you haven't played it by now,
Yeah,
like,
that's
that's
true.
your
That's
loss,
true.
mate.
Has
Mate.
anyone played it in VR? Because they brought it out in VR,
Oh,
didn't
it
they?
is out in VR, yeah. I think Will's Soul's the one with VR, yeah.
So I was really annoyed about this. So Resident Evil 7 VR was only out on PlayStation.
Oh, no.
I have never owned a PlayStation other than PS2,
Oh,
so
no.
I didn't get to play it. They have recently released Resident Evil 4 as a standalone VR game, so you don't need a computer or anything. It's like built into the Oculus.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sick.
That is really cool. So I am planning to try that out at some point. But yeah,
Oh,
I was
that'd
really
be
curious
really
about
fun.
7 because that was, like you said, a lot more horror-esque.
Yeah.
5 was great, but it was a lot more arcadey. So it would have been an
Yes.
amazing game for VR. But yeah, PS only, which is a shame.
Damn, that sucks.
Damn.
Speaking of horror games, there's a new one that's just come out called Scorn, and I believe, Sabi, you streamed this, right?
Yeah,
on,
I finished
on day
it.
of release. You finished it already.
Wow.
Nice.
It's not a long game.
Oh, okay. Is it a good game? What's your opinions on it?
I don't know. It's really, how can I say? It's a very niche kind of game. It's not for everyone, I feel like.
I was about to say, what's it about?
That's where the first problem starts.
Oh, okay. Not very clear.
Yeah, it's not. The thing is, you're just being thrusted into what's happening, right? The opening scene is essentially you're like in a deserted land, something, and you fall into a crevice, and you are then in this building, whatever.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and that's when the game starts.
So you're just thrown in instantly.
Yeah, you're literally
deep
just
end.
thrown in. Yeah, you're just thrown in, and you have to gather yourself from the handling what the story is, and it's very open to your own interpretation of what the game is supposed to be.
Okay.
So if you have a vivid imagination, you can probably like make your own story about it. But from what I've seen online, at least, it's a lot about like the themes of it is about sex, birth, and death.
Let's go.
You're having it sex.
Straight in my basket.
Yeah, because it's very much. Do you guys know MacGyver? He's
Yes.
the person that was also or that his art influenced the Alien franchise, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this Scorn is also very much influenced by his art style and everything, and also his art style is also a lot about like human anatomy, like sex and all those kind
It's
of
very
stuff.
fleshy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very fleshy.
That is a great word. I was watching the trailer. It's very fleshy.
Yeah.
So they explain it as a biomechanical aesthetic, but
Yeah.
I don't think that gives it justice. It's very
It really
fleshy and
doesn't.
squelchy, isn't it?
It really-
It's very unique.
Unique is a good word for it. Yeah.
it's very the thing is, it's like this already shows me struggling to like encapsulate it in just some like a few words. It's a very unique and different kind of gaming experience than what we are used to. That's how I would call it.
That says a lot. Like, you're very articulate, so the fact you're struggling to describe it, I think, explains the game quite well.
Yeah.
It's very puzzle based, isn't it? As well, it's not so much combat. I know there is combat in it, but it's more puzzle focused from what I'm aware.
Yeah, it is very much puzzle focused. In order to like advance, like you have these doors, that essentially indicate that you have moved on into a different level, right? And in order to like unlock the door, you need to solve these puzzles that will give you the key to unlock these doors. So then as you progress, you will have one section that is very much like, which has combat in it. But I don't know, from what I've heard, also from other people that have streamed it, is that the combat system is very primitive. In the sense of it's very basic, yes, but it's also very luck based in the sense of that you hit the thing and it just doesn't die, and you get shot twice and you're just instantly dead. The enemies have an insane accuracy that, like, if you walk, like if you're like running sideways, they will still hit you.
Absolute wall hacks.
Yeah. and I think, like, as I said, the game isn't long, right? But there's so many times where it's like I started doing a puzzle because I was like, okay, let me do the puzzle so that the enemies don't kill me. I solve the puzzle, I get out of the animation scene, and I instantly got killed.
Oh wow.
And then and the problem is it autosaves directly that moment where you get out of that puzzle thing. It autosaves and then you get killed. So whenever you load back in, you get insta-killed.
Oh no.
I used to hate that on older games where you could only have like one autosave.
Yeah.
It's exactly that problem. You can literally get stuck in an infinite loop.
Yeah. And that actually happened to me. That actually happened to me on stream. I was stuck in an infinite loop and I had to reset 45 minutes back.
Oh no.
Oh.
And that was so annoying. It happened twice. And that's like in that same stream.
That is rough.
Day.
It is.
You said you completed the game quite quickly. How long? Well, how short is it? Like hours gameplay was?
So I took nearly 6 hours, minus 1.5. So that's about 4.5 hours.
Oh, okay,
wow.
that's very short.
That is
yeah.
really
breeze
quick.
through it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too bad as it's on Game Pass from day one. I can't remember what the release price was, but it's they're giving you availability to play it without having to go out and buy it straight away.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would say that it being short is not actually a negative point, because I genuinely feel like that if the game were to be too long, it would overstay its welcome, in the sense of it would become too, I don't know, it would just become boring, in a sense.
Yeah,
Because-
too stale and repetitive.
Yeah. Because the game lives by its atmosphere, right? It's about, like, where the hell am I? Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Mhm.
But the thing is, it's
get used to
relentless. It's relentless with that. Like, each and every section is like that, where you're like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, what's going on right now?
I remember
Yeah.
you
But-
actually messaged me a picture when you was playing it, and it was some ugly monsters. You went, "Oh look, I found you." I'm like, thanks, thank you for that.
But
Yeah, I saw one of the creatures looked like just a ball bag on legs.
yeah, exactly.
So Cal, yeah.
Wow.
But the thing is, now imagine having to go through this for, like, let's say 10, 18 hours.
Yeah.
At some point, you'll be like, dude,
I'm bored.
I don't want to deal with this anymore.
I can only look at ball bags for so long.
But that's what I meant with, like, it's different than conventional horror games, because with conventional horror games, it's like, if you look at it at the graph, you have peaks, right? But then it metals down again, where it's like, oh, okay, here I can rest, right? Like,
Yeah, this is standard
this is
gameplay
safe.
rather than like an event happening.
Yeah. But with Scorn, it's really like the grotesque factor is constantly increasing. And at some point, I like, personally, at some point, I knew I would be like, I'm done with this. Like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. And genuinely, at the end of the stream, I felt like that. I was like, I'm glad this is over with, because I couldn't handle another hour or two, because I would just get disinterested.
Mhm.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I think that's what keeps horror games, right? Like, a lot of horror games are fairly short.
Mm.
They keep you gripped, but not for too long. Like, I played Uninvited Guest not too long ago, and that had me screaming for an hour and a half, and I completed it, and I was happy.
Yeah.
But like you say, it's only so much you can deal with, the same jump scares and the same things before it's like, okay, I'm done with this game. It's whatever now.
Yeah.
So it's important.
I always get to that point with horror games where I know what's going to happen now. I know what can scare me. I know what the jump scares are going to be like, and it just kind of nulls it to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It just becomes numb. I don't worry about it anymore. I got that with Phasmophobia at one point.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I actually had that also with Mortuary Assistant, where, you have different endings, right? And then when I completed the third or fourth ending, I breezed through everything else. I knew like, okay, here's gonna be a jump scare. Okay, I know that that monster thingy is gonna sit up there probably. Okay, there's this monster there. Okay, fine. I know what's gonna happen now. Or I have been in this cutscene already. I know what's gonna happen. So it's like you get kind of used to it because it's the same. I've also noticed the same with Visage is that like once you completed the first or second chapter, you then also realized, okay, the voice is creaking in the background. You know, you need to be underneath the light now.
My science is decreasing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing with horror. A lot of them are just one-time plays that you fully immerse, and after that, I think that's what makes Alien Isolation so different. As to
I agree. Yeah.
The way the AI bodies your movement and copies it and picks up how you move and hide. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so cool the way
that is like, I think that is something that a lot of horror games in the future need to include in order to sustain the game, if that makes sense. If they want to keep a longevity of a game, I think that's something they should include.
But I think the problem with Alien Isolation is that a lot of people quit because the alien just became too difficult.
Not gonna lie,
if that makes sense.
I quit.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I did the same. I was really close. Like I was on chapter 15, I think.
Yeah.
Like at the very end. But the problem is, you had then two aliens patrolling that one space, and they just knew how I was gonna act, and I was just instantly dying every single time.
Yeah, it's impossible. It's crazy.
Have we? I know I missed quite a bit. Did we speak about God of War
Not
yet?
yet.
No,
we
haven't.
Okay.
Go on, lead us into it.
So, God of War. How do we all feel? Has anyone played the God of War series before?
Yes.
So I'm going to jump in here because I haven't played them. But they're those games that you hear about all the time. This is an A-list game that people talk about how good it looks, how well it plays, how good the story is.
Yes.
So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen, especially now they're all coming to PC. That excites me a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say I used to play it back in the day on PS2, obviously, and stuff like that. And then when it came out on PC, I nearly got it, but I just, instead of getting it, I just watched Cyber play it. And that was my happiness. I literally just sat there and stared at him playing it for hours.
It's a stunning game.
It is beautiful. It is very beautiful. I've played the entire series. Except for the PlayStation Portable ones, I didn't play those, and I didn't play Ascension. But other than that, I've played all of them.
So it's safe to say you're excited for the new one.
Yes, I am very excited for the new one. I'm really looking forward to it. I've constantly, in November, beginning of November, they're gonna release the pre-release for download. So I'm just waiting for it. I'm like, oh yes, I can't wait.
So is it coming instantly on PC, the Ragnarok, or is it only PlayStation exclusive?
It's only PlayStation exclusive. I think the model that Sony is currently pursuing is that they'll leave it for a year on the PlayStation, and then release it on PC. At least that's what's been happening currently, and what I've been hearing from rumors. Now we'll have to see a year. We can clip this part and be like, okay, in a year we can play this, and either say, he's a genius or he's a complete fucking fool.
If you're wrong,
that is a weird
Sony
one.
were coming for you.
Yeah,
because
that is one of the sales of the
they're
PlayStation.
Having to push to PC, aren't they? They don't have much of a choice now.
Yeah,
they're delaying it to keep the exclusivity, but it's just in that kind of world where PC gaming is a massive thing now.
Yeah, and PlayStation are that stubborn right now. They don't want to work with anyone. They just don't.
No.
They're not doing the
It's
Discord thing. I don't
strange.
think obviously you got Game Pass that's on PC and stuff for Xbox, and
so they stopped the PlayStation Pass, didn't they, on PC?
Yeah,
well, I
they
did
did.
have that for a while.
Yeah.
I did.
And
Yeah, that was heartbreaking.
And to be fair, I believe they've improved the PlayStation Pass. Like, I know I used to get 2 games for free a month, but now they've broadened it, and it's more like an Xbox Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
but they're just so like alone. Like they're their own thing, and they've lost exclusivity to COD now.
Yeah.
So the next COD after Modern Warfare 2, I believe, Xbox has it, Microsoft has it. So it's like what PlayStation really got a couple of things left that's exclusive to them now.
Yeah.
I think it's time that they just bow down, surrender.
Oh.
Apart from their like storytelling games, what do they really have that's exclusive?
They have the
However,
Uncharted.
those storytelling games they do have are so powerful. You've got
They
Last
are
of Us,
incredible.
You've got God of War,
Uncharted.
Horizon.
Uncharted. Like they're all
Uncharted,
big,
yeah.
powerful games.
Yeah.
What's that one? Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon
Right.
Zero Dawn. I love that game.
Which one else? Ratchet and Clank, and then that weird Bandicoot, whatever.
Crash
it's called.
Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot.
Weird
Oh,
Bandicoot.
I fucking love Crash Bandicoot.
But I think that the problem is with Sony is that they are really trying to like they're really following this Nintendo approach, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, the thing is with Nintendo, they can pull it off because they have a lot of exclusive games that people are hyped for, right?
Massive fan base.
Mario, Zelda, Pokemon. You know, those are things people
Yeah.
go to. Like that's the reason why I have a Switch is to be able to play Pokemon, for instance, right? And you have a lot of people that buy a Switch to play Mario and stuff like that, and they're very much catered towards like family-friendly content and stuff you can play with the family and everything, right? But Sony doesn't have that. Like, what does Sony have? Like Nintendo has that niche, like its environment under grips, right? But Sony doesn't. And what does Sony have? Because when it comes to home console thing, it's like, yeah, okay, I get these games, but then I don't get the Xbox Game Pass, where I get all of these games, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's so many companies that are making games that are getting to a level, like the same level of those PlayStation exclusive games. Okay, I haven't got a PlayStation, I can't play God of War, but I can go and play Far Cry.
Yeah.
You know? And like there's like similar games, maybe not on the exact level, but
Yeah.
like you said, someone would go out and buy a Switch purely to play Pokemon because it's that big.
Yeah.
Zelda's that big, Mario's that big.
Yeah.
They don't have any like huge like deal breaker games
Yeah.
that are exclusive to them.
Yeah.
In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. I can agree.
I mean, for instance, if you look like the exclusive bundle games that Sony produces, right, where you buy the console and you got the game with it as well, right? What kind of bundles like these have you seen as of recent? The only one I know is the one from God of War that they're going to release around November, and the last one I remember was for Horizon Zero Dawn. Other than that, I honestly can't just tell you out of like from the back of my head.
Before that,
Yeah,
it's
I really
Spider-Man I can think of, but
Yeah.
as we kind of mentioned
Yeah.
a few times now, a lot of these games are coming to PC, so that exclusivity,
Yeah.
although it's there for a short amount of time, it's not worth me going and buying a PlayStation when I can wait a year to play the game.
Exactly.
But as I was saying, going back to God of War Ragnarok, the new one, what are your hopes for this game? Where, like, what I believe it's 3 years after where the last one leaves off, right?
So God of War Ragnarok is supposed to conclude the entire Nordic history of God of War, right? The original trilogy was based around like Greek mythology, right? And that concluded with God of War 3, and it's now with the new installment, which is regarded as the Nordic mythology, which is the God of War that was released in 2018, and now with God of War Ragnarok. So the idea, like from what I've heard, is that it's going to conclude the story around Atreus, making him become Loki, and there has been stories around the fact that Kratos is going to die, which is probably not going to happen, because knowing Kratos and the last God knows how many games, he always crawls himself back out of hell. So I don't know. I have no idea. I'm trying also to stay away from like possible spoiler discussions and stuff.
Yeah. You don't want to figure it out.
Yeah. But knowing Santa Monica Studios, they're probably not gonna just throw away Kratos like that. I feel like what they're gonna do is like they're gonna destroy the Nordic mythological pantheon, right? And then go to like Egypt, because that's another aspect that a lot of people have been saying. That's the new setting.
Yeah. Well, Ragnarok in Norse mythology is the event of like, it's a great battle which foretells like the death of multiple gods and figures and natural disasters, and basically the end of the world being, some say, submerged in water or other tales, but it's basically Ragnarok is the end.
Yeah.
I could really see them bringing him back as an enemy in one of the later games. I could just see that happening for some reason.
That could. That's very much possible.
It'd be such a cool entry to see Kratos just come and absolutely.
The thing is, though, right? Like, this is a hint that they so with a lot of franchises, you also have like comics and stuff, right? And during the period between the first 3 games and the one that's happening in the Nordic region, he was in Egypt. Well, what is supposed to be Egypt, and he tried to like the story revolved around the fact that he tried to kill himself, and then the goddess of death actually gave him back his life and was like, yeah, your time here is not yet, go to the north. So it's essentially hinting at the fact, like, so this, like, that Kratos is probably not going to die, or that he is going to die in this game for the shock factor, but then within the next installment he's gonna just randomly pop off again and be like, hey, I'm back.
Hi guys.
It's gonna be the Arnold Schwarzenegger, isn't he? That just reappears every single time there's a Terminator film.
Oh god.
Because I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's the entire story behind Kratos, is the fact that he defies death. His rage defies death itself.
Yeah.
Like, that's the entire like main principle of Kratos. Is even if you look like throughout the games, right? There's always one section where he's dead, he's in hell, and he just crawls himself out of it again.
Yeah.
What an amazing character, by the way.
It is
very cool. Very cool.
Like, when you think of a badass like main character, you think of him instantly.
Yeah, until you see him flossing on Fortnite, and then it's kind of like, what's going on here?
Oh no. I mean, if Thor can survive Ragnarok, I'm pretty sure Kratos can.
Yeah. No, but I'm really excited for that game to come out. It's I'm just excited.
I'll be excited to watch you play it, because we're obviously not having a PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't think the problem is I'm actually gonna play it on the PlayStation, so I don't have any like for the bits, or for like, I don't have a cam, I don't have anything. It's going back to the basics.
Oh shit.
But I love it. But I'm still gonna enjoy it. Like, a lot of people enjoyed it also when I played Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
They were like, I don't care about this. I love just you playing this game.
Yes.
There you go. So do you normally play on PC?
Oh yeah, I only play on PC. Like, that's the main. Okay. That's my main thing to play on. And when I'm in bed, nearly falling asleep, that's when I usually play, like, on the Switch. And the PlayStation is really like for the exclusive games, like Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us, Uncharted. My girlfriend loves playing Uncharted. So yeah,
they're perfect in bed games to play, aren't they?
Yeah. Chillax games and just
chillax on the big screen.
Like for the PC is really like for me the PC is really there for sweaty games. Like that's where it's like World of Tanks, Call of Duty, just
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like leaning forward, eyes in the monitor.
yeah, drooling like a
Demon hours.
zombie. I need to finish this.
Yeah. It always just reminds me of the South Park episode where they're playing World of Warcraft.
That is such a good
Oh,
episode.
Oh yeah.
Mom, bring the bucket.
Not toilet. Capitano.
Oh, World of Warcraft is also. Have you guys actually ever tried playing it?
Never. I was a RuneScape boy.
What's
No,
good?
for the pure purpose, I know I'd be highly addicted and lose my entire life.
Yeah. For me, it's the exact same thing, Soul. It's the exact same. I know that if I get in there and I start grinding, like, you'll be seeing here buckets. Because I'm not moving away.
I'm really addicted to games like that. Like if I see a game I can grind out and like get to max level, get some good gear, I'm in. Like full on. So yeah, I would get absorbed in. I actually started when I played Guild Wars instead of World of Warcraft, just because the monthly subscription when that came out. And I went all in on that to the point my parents were like, yeah, you need to stop playing this and actually do your studies. So
Pesky
No,
parents.
I tried it. I've actually tried playing it, right? But then I started it late. But I noticed that when I started seeing the gear, I was like, oh, this one is lower level. Oh, let me try to get the higher level one. That's when that's when the voice in the back of my head was like, switch this thing off, you're not gonna get away from it. And
you
that's
can see
when
the ice cracking underneath you. Like, uh-oh, it's coming.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, no, I'm stopping it now. Like hell to the no, I'm not doing this. Because the thing is that like that's how I got into World of Tanks as well. It's like the progression system. It's very addictive. Where it's like, oh, you get the new gun, right? Oh, you see it change. Oh, let me get the new tank. But the good thing is, it only goes to tier 10. So you don't have any more progression than that. And at some point, I was just like, okay, I've done what I could do, so I can go away from it. But in World of Warcraft, is because they're always introducing new expansions and stuff. This grinding is never ending.
Yeah, it's pretty.
You can
it's
never
been
catch
around
up.
that long. If you start now, it's pretty much never ending.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Very cool.
let's go on to the next topic. How do we feel about the future of content? I know we brushed across it a while ago. We brushed across it a couple of minutes ago about YouTube and what Twitch can do to catch up, or TikTok, like shorts, who's leading the race, where with discoverability. Where we all standing on?
So the big thing I think as we kind of mentioned earlier, is YouTube is really pushing to be everything at the moment, aren't they? Their shorts are competing with TikTok. Their streaming is competing with Twitch, and they're pulling a lot of streamers over due to better contracts and just better payment deals, I guess. But they are really pushing to be that central kind of hub for content. So.
Yeah, they want to be. Well, they have been for a long time, but they want to be everything.
They always have.
Don't they? They want to be jack of all trades.
Yeah, it's interesting because you'd think the push for shorts they would just focus on TikTok, but then they've also been targeting Twitch for bringing streamers over. So they are literally taking on everyone at once, and that could either go amazing for them. They could become that central hub, or they could just be outnumbered by all these different companies coming up with bright ideas. And they got to be careful.
The thing I would say that YouTube maybe has against them is the discoverability if you're streaming on YouTube. I think unless you are creating video content, long and short, it's very hard to get going.
Yeah, see, personally, I never even realised people live streaming on YouTube. I don't know if that's a different tab I need to look at or anything, but like when I think of live streams, I instantly go to Twitch.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
There is something about the community on Twitch as well. I feel like when you're in a YouTube live stream, it's a very different atmosphere and vibe to like say your community or Biirchyy's community. Like when I don't know, it's not as communal, is it? I just find it a bit more
cutthroat.
People have come across the stream rather than they turn up every week and want to talk to and enjoy that person's content. It's a very different vibe.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It feels like I don't know.
I mean, if you look also, I don't know if you actually saw this screenshot on how to become, like how to monetize your shorts and stuff. I've really noticed that the numbers that they've used is essentially you need to be like, you yes, you can do shorts, but you need to make other content as well on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like you need to make videos and stuff. Like you can never, like, from how I have obviously not done any calculations, but from what I've seen, the amount of views you need to have with your shorts is insanely high, to the point where it's like, I don't know, then just make it like you could just make a YouTube video then.
Yeah.
So I feel like yes, that they're really trying to take on like TikTok or Twitch, but the way that, like, the way people can achieve that then is a lot more difficult than it is, for instance, on Twitch or on TikTok, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd be really interested to see the comparing algorithms between their long form content and their short form. Because, like you said, my last few shorts have, I think like 4 of my last 5 have been over 1,000 views.
Mm.
And then I uploaded my first long form content, and for me personally, it's doing great. It's on 81 views, which I think for a long form video, I'm very happy with. But the fact it's got 14 comments, yet my shorts get 0 to 1 or 2 comments max.
Yeah.
And you feel like the more comments you have, you feel like that would kind of spike you up a little bit in the algorithm. Like, I'm not quite sure how it works.
Now, with the recent YouTube short that I've released, I got like 1,700 or something. And I've also noticed it's just like, yeah, people are seeing it, but they're not commenting, or they're just leaving a heart and then going to the next video. And I feel like it becomes this like, that YouTube Shorts is really coming into this like scrolling kind of thing, where it's just like, oh, what's the next one? What's the next one? Like with TikTok, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the crazy conspiracist here, but are they doing that to make content creators be like, oh, look how many views I'm getting? Let's go over to YouTube Short, and it's actually just bot accounts, or
Yeah, it might actually be.
Was thinking something similar of, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I feel like platforms are doing this too. I'm glad that I'm not the only one that thinks this, because I was staying quiet because I don't want to sound like a crazy person. But sometimes I look at my videos on TikTok and like, it'll have some videos obviously like a couple hundred views or whatever, and like 10 likes, and then some will be like thousands of views with not even 100 likes. And then, but I remember back in the day, for every like, I used to base it off every 100 views I'd get 10 likes. Like that's how my TikTok used to roll. But now it's nowhere near that. And I don't know whether it's just things changing or them just spiking your views up a little bit, and I don't know.
I wouldn't be shocked, especially now they've monetized promoting your posts to get more views.
Yeah.
So the fact you can pay to get these extra views, and they've got to prove that you're getting extra views, haven't they? So yeah, I'm not saying there's any necessary proof beyond that, but it is a bit of a thought I've had a few times.
No, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have the same. One that I find a little bit sus as well is, you know, those random TikTok follows you get where they have no followers, they're following 2,000. It's a generic photo, and it's user 4457821. Like, just, it's clearly a fake account, and I'm just thinking,
how?
What's your purpose? How?
How is this here?
Yeah.
It is honestly a bit, I don't know. The thing is, like when you're a content creator, you always try to like understand the algorithm behind it, right? I mean, we obviously did it for Twitch to understand, like, okay, how is the average viewer counted and stuff like that, and what kind of things do I need to do to get more views and stuff. But honestly, on YouTube and on Instagram, it's, for me personally, it's like I upload one video or short, and it gets like several thousand views. I upload a day or two later, it only gets like barely 100. I upload like 3 days later, it gets again like 1,000, 2,000 views. It's the same with YouTube Short as well. It's just, I don't know, and maybe it's because at what time you posted it. That like, oh, you need to like cater towards the US demographic, so you need to like post it like late in the afternoon or something. But still, it's very.
It is very hit and miss. I've heard a lot
Yeah.
of content creators say this, and even some like a bit bigger than ourselves, where they're saying they can post the same video a week later, exactly the same time, exactly the same day, just a week later, and one will have 8,000 views, 10,000 views, and one will have like 50, 100,000 views, and they cannot explain what the difference is. The tags are the same, the time they posted was the same.
Yeah,
They literally can't explain why it was different at all.
it is very weird, and I find it. I don't know. The thing is also like when Instagram introduced this policy of like, oh, only use 5 hashtags, right? I did that for 1 or 2 weeks, and I just noticed it doesn't make a difference. If I use the 5 hashtags or if I use 30 hashtags, in the end of the day, it doesn't make any difference. It's like, okay, fine. The Instagram post with 5 hashtags is going to be performing good or bad as the ones that are using 30 hashtags. So I have
It's an odd limit to impose, wasn't it? With no actual real strict, you can only put the hashtag symbol
Yeah.
5 times. It just seemed an odd thing to say.
or it's because I don't know. I keep up also with the actual Instagram page, right, where they give like or give hints of like, oh yeah, you need to post, like make these stories, right? Like yeah, make 3 stories per week, but or no, 3 stories per day, and three posts a week, right? But then it's like, okay, if you're trying to grow as an Instagrammer, right, what are the stories going to help you? Because the stories, like the only people that can see your stories are the people that are actually following you.
Yeah, it's good content for your community, but it's
Yeah.
not good content for discoverability, is it?
And Instagram really also has become more of a, like, you see what you want to see from the person that you're following, right? It's not about being able to reach as many people as possible, but it's really about that if you have a community already, to cater towards that community. But if it's again this argument of like discoverability, like which platforms are the platforms to use if you want to be discovered? And Instagram, from my understanding at least, and for like from the research I've done, is one of those that is actually not as good for discovering. Like, yes, you can use it. Like, if you look at it at a spectrum of like 100%, right? Maybe 30% is useful for discovering, but the rest 70% is for the people that already know you.
Yeah, it's I agree with Instagram. It's a very a dark area. Not dark. I just don't think it's as popping anymore. I don't think Instagram is anywhere near as what it used to be. It just, I don't know. I agree. It's just not working for me either, to be honest. Like in that aspect, like I've only really gained followers off Instagram because I'm following someone first in a weird way. If that makes sense. Like, it's hard to, or if someone shares like my schedule or something like that, and like sometimes that brings a couple more people in, but it's very rare that people come to my Instagram like, oh yeah, I like your content, I'll follow you on Instagram.
Yeah. Instagram's definitely the social media I focus on the least, and
Mm.
I actually rarely touch now. Where I'm concentrating so much on other platforms, I've never seen a return worthy enough for me to put more effort into it.
Yeah.
This is a good point to talk about the dark horse, Hover. That seems to have dropped off the face of the earth recently.
Oh lord, that yeah,
It is gone, isn't it? Like, I remember looking at it and going, oh, I probably should, get on board with this. It's brand new. Everyone's saying how good it is. I posted like 3 videos and just completely lost
flash
interest.
in a pan.
See, the thing
Yeah,
is with
proper
that,
flash in the pan.
with Hover,
Hoover, right?
yeah, Hoover,
Yeah.
Hover. I feel like it pushed a support narrative in a sense.
Yeah,
Or
way
a
too
follow
much.
narrative of, and it just wasn't it didn't feel organic.
Genuine.
The fact
Yeah.
that when people came across your clips or your streams, like someone would come in your stream like, I'm from Hover, you'd be like, yeah, cool, kind of cool, and then it's like,
That's it.
The
Yeah.
problem
Never
was
see him
it
again.
pushed content creators to follow other content creators, which is nice, a good way to network.
yeah,
But that is not your target audience.
Yeah.
It kind of pushed those that are already on a bit of a pedestal, or not pedestal, a platform already.
higher.
Yes.
The one, yeah.
Yeah, definitely propelled bigger names for sure.
Yeah.
And
I think it helped a lot of people get to a good point.
Oh yeah,
To a bigger
definitely.
I mean,
But
also,
not us.
yeah, but also the thing is with content creation is like, I noticed that you don't try to like stay within the content creator community, right? Because they are also content creators. It's a simple business philosophy where it's like, you are a content creator, so you are my competition, right? So it doesn't make sense for me to say, oh, I'm gonna be supporting you if you support me. No, you're trying to be outside of that community and bring on the random Joe from God knows where to watch your streams, right?
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that with also a lot of discords where this narrative is being pushed, it really comes down then to like being egoistic, where it's like, I don't care about you, I want to watch, I'm doing my own things and I want people to watch my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
obviously not here now, like we are friends in reality as well. But I've really noticed with like when it comes to like newer streamers, it's really of like
Yeah.
I need to promote my own things. It's just like, I get it, but no, it's not how it's supposed to work.
Just be genuine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if I've got any advice for new streamers out there that are listening, be genuine, be yourselves. Don't push yourself like crazy for them followers. Like, followers is just a number. Just be you, be genuine, and the rest will come. Like you
true.
gotta be happy within yourself and within your content for it to pay off. In my opinion, people stay in streams if your energy's high. If you're genuinely sat there enjoying yourself. If you're sat there checking your viewer list every 10 seconds, checking your followers and this, that, the other, you're not focused on your content, and it's just, you just gotta focus on that, narrow down on that, and do your thing. Don't focus on anyone else's thing. Do your own thing. Pave your own path.
Don't compare.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Don't
also,
compare.
it looks really bad if you have like, let's say 4, 5, 10,000 followers, right? And you only have 10 people watching you. It's like if you have 10,000 followers and only 10 people are watching you, that's 1%.
Something's going wrong.
Like, then you need to, like, you genuinely need to self-reflect and be like, is this what I'm doing correct?
Yeah,
And I
because it
feel
shows
like-
you're getting the discoverability, you're getting people in, but you're
Yeah.
you're not keeping them, you're not maintaining that entertainment
Exactly.
value. right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's really, I don't know, like a lot of, like, I've really noticed with a lot of small streamers, they're like really trying to push for this, like, oh, I need to get more viewers, and stuff, or why am I not getting more viewers? It's like, dude, just self-reflect, see what's working, see what's not working, right? And then, or maybe just like realize to yourself and say like, hey, maybe this is not for me. Maybe Twitch is not for me. Maybe I need to go and do YouTubes or whatever, right?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
a lot of
there's a lot of
people are
options.
also in it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
think
Yeah.
people see people blow up, get a shit ton of money, and they're like, I want that. And think it happens overnight. Like, they don't realise the hard work, day in, day out, you have to do to get that people do to get to that level. You know, to
It's
Yeah.
a definite iceberg
yeah.
where half
It
the
is,
hard
it
work,
is.
well,
100%.
90% of the hard work is hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean also the thing is, this is a statistic that I was throw out, right? If you have on average 6 viewers, right,
Yeah.
you belong to the top 97% of the streams.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
Like, just think about it. That is an insane. Like, you have 6 people that come to your stream, watch you whenever you're live, right? And you already belong to the top 97% of streamers. And then if you go to the higher tops, that's when you go to like the 0.0 something percent.
Yeah. I believe I can't remember it. I think it's around, is it 30 average viewers or something? It puts you in the top 1% of Twitch. Which is wild. It really puts into perspective how many streamers there are out there on the platform. And like we say though, like not everyone's pushing for the same goal. Everyone streams for different reasons. Some people want to make it big. Some people are just doing it to chat to the community. And some people are just doing it to get away. You know, it's just everyone has their own reason for doing it and stuff. But it's just crazy, absolute crazy how many people are on the platform.
I would go back to the point that Soa made about the followers as well. Is just don't even focus on your followers. Like I'm not gonna blow my own trumpet here, but I have. Oh no!
Go ahead.
I'm a modest man.
I'll blow it for you.
I have a relatively. I have a relatively smaller following. Like I've been streaming for a year, and I'm at just under 750 followers. But I think if you look to my average viewership, is so much higher than a lot of people that are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 followers.
Definitely, yeah.
Because I've been genuine from the very start. I will never be anyone but myself. 2, it's about community and building strong friendships with people and relationships. And it's, like you say, being in it for the right reasons.
You got to focus on the people that are there rather than the people
3.
that aren't.
You got the sexy bandanas as well.
Oh, the sweaty.
I got the bandanas.
The sweaty,
But
sexy.
Bandanas aside,
Oh.
I think I don't care if I'm on 100 subs, 1 sub, no subs. If I've got someone in chat, if I got one person talking to me, I'm having a good time. And I think if you're genuine and people see your genuine happiness and your enjoyment from it, that shit's contagious.
Definitely.
And then again, like you said, putting in the hard work behind the scenes with that, then you should see growth and success. But that's also at your own rate.
But that's another thing I actually want to touch on is the hard work in the background, right? Like I know a huge Twitch streamer. He's huge in World of Tanks, right? And I've watched him for like the last 5 years or something. And he has been grinding on Twitch and on YouTube for 10 years. And only a year ago, he became one of the Twitch ambassadors. But that's the amount of dedication people need to put into this. And the thing is like, he was grinding, doing Twitch and doing content creation on YouTube and everything while he was doing his masters and going on to do his PhD. Like he was on the day he was streaming and the night he was working on his PhD.
People are built different, man.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like a lot of people just see like, oh, a person in front of the camera. Oh, I can do this too. But it's like, no, there is a lot more work behind it that a lot of people don't realize.
Mm-hmm. How long was Ninja streaming before he blew out? Like 6-7 years?
Yeah.
It was Halo Pro and stuff like that. It was crazy.
That is true. He obviously had a bit of a fan base already, but how long he was grinding and working before he went full on into the stratosphere of Twitch.
Yeah. It went.
I'm not saying it's not gonna happen to everyone. Sometimes things like that will be luck, but you got to make your own luck.
Yeah,
I agree. Shall we jump into the last bit of the quick fire round before we end things?
Yes, let's do it. So, We've got a few quick fire questions, which we'll be firing at our guests towards the end of every stream, just to
Podcasting
Yeah.
means not stream.
it's a bit of fun. Oh, did I say stream again? Oh my god!
One day.
Force of habit. One day. So yeah, who wants to ask the questions?
I think
I don't have
Cal
them.
should do the
I don't
honors.
even have them.
Okay, I can send them.
Wow, so much for being prepared, huh?
I did so well.
We've got the questions,
That's
just Cal.
This
Yeah,
bit's
it's just
100%
just
getting cut out.
always Cahill, right? It's always him.
Oh, come on.
I did add a cheeky extra question in there as well.
Right.
Oh,
Okay, here we go. Quick fire. I want short and simple answers straight off the tongue.
okay, that's gonna be difficult. All right, let's go.
Are you ready?
I was born ready.
How did you come up with your online name?
Because of Cyberpunk.
Oh,
Cyber and then Tronix was just an added thing.
Nice. Okay. All-time favorite game?
Pokemon Platinum.
All-time favorite food?
Casserole.
Oh, okay.
I was not expecting that.
I wasn't either. Got me off guard.
I actually have it in the oven right now. I'm just waiting to put it on. It just
Oh
needs to
God, let's not
be
burn your
another
house
20
down.
minutes.
Okay.
Quicker, Cal, quicker.
Favorite film?
The first Alien movie or Grudge?
Okay. Oh, good. Great film. Favorite streamer or content creator / content creator? Whatever.
Too many to name. There are 3 awesome ones. There are 3 people right here that I watch.
He does politics.
Aw.
Sitting on the fence.
That was a
Yeah.
sweet
That
answer,
was a
though.
sweet-
He was sweet. He was sweet.
Give me a kiss.
We love you.
Okay, last one. What's one aspiration you have in life?
One aspiration that I have in life. Just being the best of myself, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Brilliant.
And
It's genuinely like what I've been always told is as long as I can change one person's life, I'll be happy. I don't want anything else.
no, that's what we love to hear.
What a beautiful note to end
I
on.
know. And
Definitely.
with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to another episode of KBN, Knees, Bandanas, and Nonsense. Cyber, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for being our first ever guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Everyone, make sure you check him out. His links will be down below. And yeah, peace out. Say bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I forgot that bit.
Bye bye.
Don't forget to like if you got a squishy butt.
Knees!
Bandanas.
And nonsense.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.